Hope you guys are having a great day. This is Blaze, and I just sold my first $1 million business. And before I start, don't forget to smash that like button. For starters, my family does not have a ton of money, and I don't come from any money. I mean, we were poor. My dad was in the military, and he took care of 5 kids all by himself, and sometimes he wouldn't even come home until 6 or 7 p.m. But I remember some times where we didn't have much food. I mean, there was a week I remember where we just had potatoes and ramen for a whole week. That's all we ate. So I learned how to cook potatoes like 12 different ways. Also at the time, my dad was living paycheck to paycheck and didn't really have a budget, and he didn't invest at all and didn't tell us how to invest. So throughout high school, I didn't really care about school. I would skip school, and it was really boring to me. I thought it was really pointless because half the time we were watching movies. Well, that's Louisiana education for you. Somehow, after skipping class and watching a bunch of movies, I got a 3.4 GPA and went to college. College doesn't change anything for me. I'm still broke. I don't have any money. My family doesn't have any money. But I want to be the first person in our family to graduate from college. I started out in the engineering program where, man, I just hated it. And my minor was business, but in engineering, the first year, you had to know how to program a robot. That's just ridiculous to me. I had no programming abilities. It was horrible. And also, I was so broke, I could barely afford any of the books. Any loan money that was left over after paying tuition, I had to use for food, lodging, and for books. Well, food and lodging was more important to me than books, you know, because I wanted to actually survive. So that didn't help me at all. I fell in love with all my business classes. I loved how to analyze businesses. Also, my favorite class was whenever we had to invent or come up with some kind of product. That was cool. How to market it, how the finances worked. But all the other crap in college, like history, writing, English, oh gosh, I was terrible. Like I said, I don't have half the books. So yeah, my grades were horrible. They were not very good. So first, I couldn't afford books. But I remember this one time where there was like a week left until the next semester, and I had no money for food. And I was just starving. And another friend of mine, whose name is Andrew, he was pretty poor too. And I remember we were living in this big house. There's a bunch of canned food in the pantry, which we have no idea where it came from. It looked super old. And I remember these peaches, I was desperate. I was hungry. I opened up those peaches. Oh man, those were the best peaches in the world. They could have been 20 years old. I think he found some beans. I don't know. It was horrible. Another time was my girlfriend in college, who's also my wife now. She gave me 2 coupons for 2 free Cokes. I was like, what? I can't remember the last time I had a soda because, you know, I'm broke. I was like, you know what? I know who to give this other coupon to. So I was like, hey, Andrew, you want to get some Coke? Or not, that'd sound terrible. That'd sound terrible. But we walked like 2 miles to the convenience store to get our free Coke. That's just terrible. I should have been on one of those commercials where they're like, for only 50 cents, you can help this poor college student afford food, books, and lodging. Back on track here, I'm getting off track. I knew I wanted to open a business, I just didn't know what business at the time. And so when I graduated college, I knew I had to get some kind of experience, learn business operations, learn how to manage people, learn how to analyze the financials in a real business. So I started working as a manager at Hertz Rental Car. You might not think a rental car company is a tough business, but good Lord, that's a tough business. After my second week there, some guy returned a car. I went to go check out the car and it smelled like marijuana. So I was like, hey, we're gonna have to charge you $100 smoking fee because you can't smoke in the car. And he's like, and this dude is like buff, he's tatted up, and he's like, I didn't smoke in that car. And I was like, yeah, you did. He's like, come here. I was like, oh man, I don't know what he's about to do. He's about to choke slam me or take me out. I don't know. So he walked me to the rental car and he opens up this big bag and it was full of marijuana. And he's like, see, I didn't smoke, but it's this. And I was like, yeah, it is that. And he took his bag and he just walked off. And I was like, okay, so that's what kind of people we're dealing with here. I remember another instance, this is whenever I was a manager, where undercover detectives were like, look, we know you're running cars to drug dealers, and we know all the drug dealers. Can we mark those cars, and can you let us know what's happening? I'm like, whoa, I'm not doing all that. But I did learn the operations of the business. One business I came in and it was failing. It was doing terrible. And I 3x'd the business. Then I was promoted and they brought me to a bigger store that had, I think, 80 cars on fleet, which means that we're running out 80 cars. And before I left, we had 160 cars and we like tripled the revenue. I'll just say that I have to thank all the people that were working under me. They did great from everything. My assistant manager was amazing, but it's just persistence and kind of like understanding what's going on. The business part just came naturally to me, but it's more than just selling vehicles. It's more like tightening up a process, and I just love that. I'm not gonna be able to own a Hertz, and the customers that we have are kind of sketchy. I remember talking to one of my friends who was also a Hertz manager, and his wife was a State Farm agent, and she owned her own State Farm agency. And he was like, oh, you'd be great at this and you get to own your business. I was like, oh, that's great. So he hooked me up with the recruiter, and I talked to the recruiter and he's like, oh yeah, there's gonna be this guy who's opening up a brand new branch. You'll get to see how to open one up, how it operates, and how the insurance industry works. And I was like, oh great, I already know how to manage people. I already know how to operate a business. I just have no clue what to do with insurance. But I was like, it sounds like a great deal. I worked with the agent on day one to help him get his agency up and running. The main part was how to come up with a sales process and get some salespeople for him. And so a State Farm agent who's new has 1 year to prove himself. And if he's good, he'll get a permanent contract for State Farm. If that agent doesn't do well that first year, then they fire him. This agent had a lot of pressure on him, and I was there to help him all the way I could, because it would look very good on me that I helped him get his agency. So when it's time for me, they'll see that and be like, wow, you really helped him. So yeah, easy choice, here you go. So after this particular agent got his contract, he pretty much his mind just shut off. I don't know what happened. The first year, the agent was so involved in everything, and also he'd be the first one there and sometimes last to leave. But after that first year, barely came to work. When he did come to work, he just pointed his finger and was just like, hey, you guys aren't doing good, even though we were. But I was like, this is weird. This is not the guy, the first year person I knew. And so that kind of defeated the team. That just discouraged everyone. After 2 to 3 years, I wasn't an agent still, because you have to wait until someone dies or retires at State Farm. And no one was doing either. So I was like, I can't wait any longer. So I told the agent that I'm working for, is like, hey, I'm gonna open up my own agency. You know, he's talking and talking. He's like, you are a brother to me, blah, 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 blah. And pretty much you're going to fail. And I was like, woo. I'm already pretty motivated at this point, but he just made it even more motivating. Peace, deuces. So I started up my own agency and bought a franchise of an insurance company. What this franchise does is this company would give me all the resources to start up an insurance company. The State Farm agent that I helped, he just took over business. He got like a $2 million book that he took over that was built over 20, 30 years. Me, I'm starting out with scratch zero. So day one, I ain't getting paid anything. With this franchise, they had all the contracts for insurance companies, which means I can write for over 25 different insurance companies, which is great for me, because if one auto insurance isn't a very great deal for the client, I can just go to the next one and then the next one, and I can just find the best deal for these clients, which with State Farm, you can only sell with State Farm, which kind of limits you. Now, the negative thing about this is no one knows who Blaze Aldridge Insurance is. No one has a clue. I can call you up and be like, hey, you want some insurance? And be like,
you're sketch. Boop.
Yeah, there's no branding there. Instead of going straight to car insurance, which State Farm does, I was thinking, all right, we're gonna go straight to homeowners. I was gonna build a relationship with people in real estate, realtors and loan officers. The big thing about this is they deal with a lot of clients. Some loan officers have over 200 to 300 loans a year, which means that's 200 to 300 customers they can send over to me, and that's, policy's $1,000. That could be $200,000 to $300,000 of premium of sales just from one person. So if I could get some people and build those relationships, that'd be golden. So I hit another snag. So with this franchise that I have, if another person has a franchise, whoever they go see, all the loan officers or realtors, if they have notes in the system or whatever saying they're going to see these people, I can't talk to them. Even if they haven't even talked to them, if they set up a meeting and it says it in the notes, I can't go see them. So person went and saw everyone before I could. So that means I couldn't see anybody. It made my job so much harder. So I had to drive about 100 miles to different cities just to get somebody, just to set up meetings and stuff. It was really tough in the beginning, and I had to grind like nobody's business. It was just tough. That was probably the toughest part. Is probably the first 3-4 months of me just trying to find business, because you're starting from scratch, and if I ain't selling anything, I ain't making anything. That's what's so hard about new starting businesses, is you got to find your clients. Finally, there were some loan officers that were freed up because they weren't giving this guy business, this other franchise owner, which makes my job even harder too, because I'm going to go see these people that said no to this guy. They're most likely going to say no to me too. They're just going to hate me more because another guy's showing up asking for their business. There was this one loan officer, and wow, I set up a meeting with her, and she was so nice, and I just told her, look, I will not disappoint you. Just give me a chance. And she's like, all right, I will. And from that day on, she sent me everything, and she gave me every single opportunity to help any of her clients, which helped a lot. After that meeting, I got so much confidence that I started seeing a bunch of other loan officers that said no earlier to this other guy, and they would start sending me business. And so my business just started to grow like crazy, and I was getting so happy. It's a great feeling when you see your money going up, when you see profits and you're finally getting paid. It's, I can't explain it, but it felt good, and you're building it yourself. But before that, oh man, I never did cold calling, which means that you just go to see these loan officers without calling them, without setting up any meetings. And that's what I was doing. Every time I would go see someone new, in the very beginning, I was so nervous. I was just so nervous. I don't know if you call it anxiety or what. So to get it all out, I screamed as loud as I could in my car. Oh gosh, I'm sure somebody was walking by my car is someone getting murdered, and what's going on? Fear can stop you from progressing on whatever you're trying to do in life. If I was so scared and had so much anxiety that I didn't go into those offices, I would have never got any business. You just have to break the barrier. Also, if you're thinking about starting a business, one huge thing to do is make a business plan. That is huge. Knowing what clients to go after, how much that's gonna cost, how much money, revenue that you need to break even, what market are you going after, who's your competitors. So there's so many things that go into a business. If you have any questions about starting a business, you can comment down below, or you can reach me on Instagram at Blaze_Aldridge, I think it is. I'll put it in the descriptions down below. Don't forget to subscribe. Now with insurance, so that first year, I think I got about $400,000 worth of premium written. And that second year, which was during COVID, I got another $400,000. So with insurance, it's like hidden gold. You get paid every year on the same client. So that first year I got $400,000, the second year I got $400,000. So that's $800,000. Now, of course, some clients will cancel, but ultimately you have all these clients, and it's like an investment, like a stock. If you hold that stock, it'll eventually grow and you make more and more money. The same way goes with insurance. So the more people you sign up, every year you get paid on that same customer unless they cancel. And it's rare that a business continually pays you for the same client every single year. So that's why I call it's the hidden gold. So yes, I hit over $1 million in business, but that doesn't make me a millionaire, because like I told you, I make 12% off my book of business. So you do the math there. So why did I sell my business when I could just hold it and keep making money on the same clients? I don't have to do anything. I could literally just sit here and just keep making money. Well, I had this huge goal where I said, if I have enough money where I can do this huge thing I want to do, which I don't want to say right now because we'll make a video of it. Yeah, I sold my business and everything's looking good. It did not come easy at all. And I do appreciate everyone that helped me out from my business, from college, and even my dad, who instilled all those values in me where you gotta work hard for everything that you want. And you guys can do the same. It just takes dedication, and you gotta consistently do and work at what you want. And I believe you guys can do that. Anyone can do it. I mean, even me who used to be really freaking poor can do it and barely pass college. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video, because in the future videos, I'm gonna tell you why I sold my business, because it's huge. I'm super excited for what's gonna happen. So yeah, thanks for everything, and we'll see you in the next video.